Welcome, welcome to Libertarians Drinking Coffee Live. So happy that you are with me this evening. This afternoon, I should say, a little bit past 3 p.m., 4 p.m. on the East Coast. And I have with me today someone who I have known for years. And it isn't just coffee. I do love my coffee. But there's someone else here who I have with me who I've known for years and who has been somehow involved in the Liberty Movement, who has been involved both at the party level, at the activist level, running for office, helping out campaigns. And he's decided he's running for county board. And he is the man, the myth, legend from Illinois, Russ Clark. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Larry. How are you?
I am surviving in my bunker every day, trying to make the world a better place. I keep trying, but man, they make it harder every day, don't they?
They do. They do. Certainly at the national level, out in New York, it's pretty tough. From what I understand, here in Illinois, we have our own battles too.
Absolutely. So, look, when you and I talked, one of the things you brought up was Sonya Massey. And generally speaking, when those types of things happen, someone is killed by a cop, that's not why someone runs for county board, right? That's not the thing that happens. It's always like, whatever, back the blue or defund the police or whatever, right? There's always something like that. But somehow this is connected to your run. Tell me how.
So I live here in Springfield, Illinois, which is in Sangamon County. So I'm running for the Sangamon County Board. The Sangamon County Board does not have control over the Sangamon County Sheriff's Office. It was a Sangamon County Sheriff's deputy who shot and murdered Sonya Massey in her own home on the night of July the 6th. And it was a terrible, terrible tragedy that should never happen again. Sonya Massey was going through a number of mental health issues. She had just gotten released from a mental health facility a few days prior. There have been a number of 911 calls on July 3rd, on July 4th, and July 5th about her concerns. She met with not only Springfield Police Department, she met with mental health teams. She also attempted to check herself into one of the local hospitals to get into their mental health ward.
Oh, I didn't realize she'd actually done that. I didn't realize that.
Yes. So
okay.
this was going for some time. And, one of the issues that we have is that every time Sonya was evaluated, she was found not to be a danger to herself, and she was not found to be a danger to the community. So, I can only assume, my wife's a nurse, and she had spent some time working in a mental health facility. Unless you are a danger to yourself or to others, you can check yourself into a mental health facility and then check yourself right back out.
Sure.
So the fact that she went to the hospital, she went to St. John's Hospital and was seeking help.
So to be clear, she knew something was wrong. Like, she was aware something's going on here. I got a problem. I need some help. She was aware of this.
Oh yeah, she was aware of it. And because of HIPAA laws, we don't know what happened at the hospital. That's probably not going to come out at any point in time. It depends. It's up to the family whether or not it should. That's their decision. But she went home and then at about 1:30 on July 1:30 in the morning on July the 6th, she had called the 911. She had an altercation with her neighbor the day prior. And she was suspicious. She was suspicious about a prowler coming around her home.
Oh, she thought that there was someone after her.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, the reason that the Sangamon County Sheriff's Department was dispatched was because she is in part of the Springfield metro area that is not incorporated. So,
it was a jurisdiction issue.
It was a jurisdictional thing. So
okay.
She was in unincorporated Sangamon County. That's the Sangamon County Sheriff's Office that receives that call. And then they dispatched 2 deputies out there to go check the home. If you watch the deputy coverage or the deputy body cam, ex-deputy Grayson was the one that got him and his partner invited into our hall.
Got it.
For this whole altercation. Everything about this call from ex-deputies Grayson's standpoint was completely against all Sangamon County Sheriff's policy, starting with his body cam being turned off. Every sheriff's deputy in Sangamon County, including all of our corrections officers in the jail, have body cams. And their policy is that when you are interacting with somebody in the public or somebody who's in the jail, that body cam's on.
Okay, so hold on 1 second now. Now I think I'm getting it. So even though, because of where this happened and where she lived, this is actually a county sheriff's jurisdiction, and you're running for county board, so you would affect the policies of the sheriff's office.
Yes, we do not have direct oversight of the sheriff because the sheriff is directly elected, but we have control over the sheriff's budget.
Yeah, but hold on. I feel like what you've said so far, if I get it right, and you tell me if I'm off here, is that the policies of the sheriff's office is actually pretty good. This deputy didn't follow them. Am I wrong with that?
No, that is correct. He did not follow any of those procedures. He did not follow his training. And at the resolution of this, so I'll kind of go through some of the steps if people are unfamiliar with it. I certainly know of one person who's running for president who apparently is not familiar with any of these cases. So they get invited to the house. They check the house. Ex-Deputy Grayson, everything's fine. They're having, they're actually having a couple of chuckles about, how, hey, that there was nothing wrong. We can go home now, that type of thing.
Okay, so to be clear, they went in. She invited them in?
She invited them in at ex-Deputy Grayson's directive.
Okay, so he said, "Can we come in?" or something like that. And she said, "Okay." Yes. And then they came in, and what you're telling me that it was not threatening. In fact, the deputy was more like, "We looked around, there's nobody here, you're fine." It was something like that.
Something like that. Yep.
Okay. So then what happens? Why does he all of a sudden shoot her? Or I should say all of a sudden. Why did it escalate to when he shot her?
Yeah. So ex-Deputy Grayson notices a pot of boiling water on the stove. And he says, "Hey, you're not, why don't you go take care of that? Because we don't want something to catch fire." Okay. So Sonya goes over and lifts the pot off the stove. And then he yells, "Hey, you're not going to throw that on me, are you?" And she's just like, no. She throws her hands up in the air. At that point, he's got his gun pulled, aimed at her head, and she's crouching down, covering her face, and he fires 3 rounds.
Wow.
One of those rounds, it hits her head and kills her.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Now, the reason that we have body cam footage of this is because his partner, when they got out of the vehicle, turned on his body cam. His partner has been
partner was following the rules.
Was following the rules, yes. Was following all the procedures. Grayson never turned on his body cam until after Sonya was dead.
So let me, I feel like, I don't know, then why does this, and I'm going to be cynical here, so please push back.
Sure.
Why does it matter? And I don't mean that it doesn't matter for him. Whatever policies you have in a police force, assuming they're good policies, and I feel like from this, these aren't bad policies, someone's not going to follow them, right? There's going to be the rogue cop no matter what. I mean, look, obviously if you have bad policies, you're going to have a whole lot more bad outcomes, clearly. But if you've got a decent policy, there's still going to be a cop who's going to be like, I don't care. I'm super cop. I don't need this. That cop's still going to exist. I feel like what you're telling me is this deputy is one of those cops. So shouldn't we, in this case, just punish him and move on? Or is there something more that I'm missing?
Yeah, there's something more that you're missing. And that is the way, and that is the way that the Sangamon County Sheriff's Department has hired deputies. So
okay.
Right. So you won't find this information on the county's website. You won't find it on the sheriff's website. I found this through a podcast interview that the sheriff had done about 2 months ago with some local people here in town. And he admitted that their hiring process is that they will do an evaluation. They'll evaluate your agility. They'll evaluate your I'm
Your
sorry,
physical strength.
your physical strength. They'll evaluate your accuracy with shooting and
Sure.
agility and things like that. And then
Makes sense.
you get interviewed by a merit commission, and then you go into a hiring pool, and that's it.
No, no medical, no background, no nothing.
They do a background because they knew about ex-Deputy Grayson's DUIs.
DUIs. Wow.
He received a general but honorable discharge from the Army in 2015 for DUI.
Wow.
Okay. And then he got another one in 2016.
David's not happy. He says, wow, that guy shouldn't be a cop. I agree with David. Yes, I'm with him. Absolutely. Yeah. Wow.
So the first DUI doesn't necessarily bother me as much.
Agreed.
As the second DUI.
Correct.
And he also got a ticket for driving on a suspended license. With his second DUI,
was he a cop at the time?
As far as I know, he was not a cop when he got the ticket for driving on a suspended license.
Got it. Okay. No, I'm with you. Anybody can make a mistake. I don't like DUIs, but people are humans. They will make mistakes. I get it completely. You get in 2 or 3, and then you want to be a cop right away. I feel like you're trying to become a cop so you don't get caught with DUIs anymore. That's how I feel like it's your job. Like, man, I keep getting DUIs. I better become a cop so I don't get caught. That's what I feel.
Right.
So Sam brings up a point. He says, pretty sure you can't be a teacher with DUIs, DWIs because of a morality clause. Do you know if that's true?
I do not know if that's true in Illinois. I have not heard of teachers losing their licenses for a DUI. Now, if you have a DUI while you're driving a school bus, yes, the people lose their jobs for that.
Yep.
If you're transporting students, let's say you're a coach and you're driving a small team somewhere with the school property, and you get a DUI, well then yes.
Of course,
but
makes sense.
As far as I know, if you get a DUI, you don't automatically lose your teaching license.
So let's go to another piece. It's a little bit off, but I think still on. Dave Davis says body cams don't matter if the Republican Party grants qualified immunity to every cop. Does any of that affect the local sheriff? Right? I know Trump is talking about giving everybody immunity. I get it. Is that going to affect a local police force or a local sheriff?
Unfortunately, in this case, I believe qualified immunity is going to impact the star witness. I call him the star witness. We're not we're not giving his name publicly, mostly because this gentleman is the witness in a very high-profile murder case. But the ex-Deputy Grayson's partner is the beneficiary of some qualified immunity because of Illinois' murder statutes. So we have murder 1, murder 2, murder 3. We also have felony murder. Felony murder in the state of Illinois is very broad. It's so broad, in fact, that there's a case right now here in Sangamon County where a woman lent her vehicle to some guys that were going to go perform a robbery for drugs. Okay. She's facing felony murder charges for lending them the vehicle. Not because she knew that they were going to go kill somebody in the
robbery.
This robbery. Yeah, she didn't know that. But because somebody was killed during the felony, she's facing felony murder charges herself.
Wow.
Yes.
All right, so I went a bit off here, but I get where you're going. So you're looking deeper. You're looking at a hiring process more than anything else. And because you control their budget, you can basically say, we are going to punish you financially until you change your hiring processes.
Yes. And,
Got it.
and you know, that's really probably the biggest thing that needs to come out of this, because we already have body cams. We already have a policy against chokeholds. We have a policy where we call in mental health professionals. Everything that's happened within the sheriff's department since, and I'll give Sheriff Campbell a lot of credit. He went to a meeting on Monday and where he basically got yelled at for 2 hours by activists.
Yep.
I don't know of another police chief or county sheriff where they willingly go and have those meetings with the community, who is obviously and rightfully very upset about this.
Yeah. Thank you. That is good. But this is a weird part though. You were running before this happened. So this actually isn't the reason why you were running. No,
it's not.
Right.
I didn't run. I was not running to reform the sheriff's office.
Right. Right.
You know, my campaign is focused on three things. One, improving airport service. We've lost 2/3 of our airline flights in Springfield in the past 2 years. Now, Sangamon County and Springfield, well, I'll just do the county. The county has 200,000 residents. So there's a fairly decent market for airline travel in our county. And for no other reason than a airline executive deciding that they want to flood the market in the Southwest with airline flights, Springfield lost some of its flights.
This is funny. You know, I want to bring this piece up because right now everyone's talking about, well, is it going to be Kamala Harris? Is it going to be Donald Trump? Or who's going to win the presidency? And that's exciting and interesting. It is. It's fun and it's drama. I get it completely. But the stuff you're talking about is the stuff that actually affects the people in the county. These are jobs. These are tax revenue. This is tourism. This is all the things that matter in someone's actual life is right here. It shows that local people running locally really does matter. So one reason why I do this show, I talk all the time. People always go, Larry, who's you libertarians aren't running? Yeah, we're running all over the country. We're running locally. And we're running, of course, at the top, but we're also running locally. And very often, the local races are actually more important. So I wanted to bring that up because that is a nuance and a detail that the average person, even at the state, probably doesn't even pay attention to. But you're paying attention to it.
Yeah. No, and it's a big economic development issue. A lot of these airlines don't actually care how big the city it is that they're servicing. I can bring up the county where my brother lives, in Gallatin County, 80,000 people. They have better airline service than St. Louis.
Wow.
Okay, I'm not joking. They have more flights to more connections to more domestic hubs than St. Louis, Missouri, which is a population of about 1.2 million.
Yeah, I'm saying it had to be over 1 million. Yeah, sure. Wow. That's crazy.
That? Yeah, and I'll tell you how this happens. This happens because of revenue guarantee funds. So basically what it is it's an escrow account that's set aside. Multiple government agencies can contribute to it. Multiple private citizens can do it. Multiple corporations can contribute to it. It's basically a financial backstop, ensuring that the airlines don't lose money on an airline route. We are the only major metropolitan area in Illinois that does not have one.
Got it. Okay.
One. Yeah, I mean, Chicago. I don't think Chicago has one because they probably don't need one. They're
a massive hub. Sure,
right?
Massive hub.
National hub. They don't need it. But smaller communities like Rockford, smaller communities like Bloomington, Illinois, smaller communities like Champaign, Illinois, they have these revenue guarantee funds, and that's bringing in flights for them.
Got it.
They're adding city pairs. We've lost ours. We have 2 flights a day to Chicago. That's it.
Wow.
At 2 p.m. and 8 p.m.
Wow. Okay. That's clear. Guys, let me talk to my audience real fast. Audience, if you're listening and you like what you're hearing and it's interesting, then do me a favor. do me a favor, do two things. Number one, click that like button. I know I ask you, but please click it. It does matter. Every people seeing this is important. Click the like button. But more importantly, follow Russ. You can follow him on Twitter if you want to, or X, whatever you want it, whether you like Elon or not. I don't really care. Follow him anyway at Clark4. Is it Sangmo? Is that right?
Yeah. So Sangmo is an old abbreviation for Sangamon.
Got it. Okay, Sangmo. There we go. All right. So Clark4 Sangmo BD. It's right there. It's in the description and also on your screen. And also go support him. Head over to his website, russclark.org. That's RUSSCLARK.org. He is taking donations and he also needs volunteers. So if you happen to be in his area, he's going to be out there knocking on doors and doing sign waving. So, hey, head out there, say hi, do some sign waving with him, knock on some doors with him, whatever case may be. Or he can always use social media warriors, people who are going to spread his word, people are going to click that like button, people are going to put some comments on his stuff. He can use social media warriors, or of course, he knows use direct donations to help get more of those palm cards. You got to hand out those door hangers, right? Need some of those too. Whatever it is, help him out with that if you can.
And so, speaking of which, I need to go grab my charge cords real quick. So I will
go.
Give you 5 seconds.
No, go right ahead. Absolutely. Look, the thing that I love about working with people like Russ and doing this show is so that people can see there are more than just people at the top. There are people all over the place running, people who actually care about their local communities and make an actual impact in their local communities, right? And then talking about ways of fixing things, not just going, burn it all down, government bad. Don't get me wrong, government is bad. But that's not the only answer. There are other things you can do. And that's, I appreciate the work that Russ is actually doing.
Right.
So you went on to the one piece, right? But you said there's 3. That was one. Where's the others?
Okay. So one of our big projects that we were doing here in Sangamon County is we're actually building a brand new Amtrak terminal here in town. Springfield has a very long history of being served with railroads. You know, our most famous resident, Abraham Lincoln, his day job was a railroad lawyer.
Oh, so, I didn't even know that. Railroad lawyer. Look at that. All right.
Yeah. So it's been very interesting. I've done I've been doing a lot of the learning about Lincoln and the race for the 1860 nomination, and it's all very interesting. But at one point in time, Springfield had five railroad terminals in the 1880s and the 1890s. So, us getting consolidated into a union station, reason that it's a union station is that it was served by all the railroads, rather than each one of them having their own individual railroad. So back right now, the Amtrak terminal station actually is on 3rd Street, and we're moving it to 11th Street. 11th Street is actually the street right behind the Sangamon County building. So this is part of an activity that the Sangamon County Board has funded. Basically, we had some old bonds that were retiring and coming off the books. And so rather than allowing that money to go back to the citizens, the Sangamon County Board at the time decided that they were going to move the railroad tracks to 11th Street, which is back behind the county building, and then build.
Wait a minute. So the government had a chance to give the money back, and they didn't? What?
They did not.
I'm just teasing. Go ahead. So they're now gonna move it. I get it. They're gonna move.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So they're moving it, and there's been an expansion at the county building as well. There isn't, and that was needed. Right now, the entrance into the county building is basically one revolving door and 2 access doors on either side of the revolving door. It's not tenable for people that are coming in and out of that county building all the time. And then with the additional security measures that are needed.
Oh, sure. County, right.
For county buildings and government buildings, it doesn't work. So they've taken the opportunity to build in a new public entrance to the county building that's going to accommodate more people, which is a good thing. I don't necessarily have a big argument with it. I do have a big argument with what's going to happen with 3rd Street after we move the Amtrak service, because I don't want 3rd Street to become this derelict railroad track that's going through town.
Oh, got it. Okay, so you get the move. You're okay with the move. You think it makes sense, and the money's not doing no extra taxpayer cash, even though they didn't give it back, but no extra cash, so that's done. You're
Right.
worried about what's going to be left over. Now, is that government land still, or is that private land?
So right now it is, it would either be, it should be City of Springfield, because it's
Okay.
3rd Street. Okay, that's what
Got
it's
it.
called. But it's the right of way is basically owned by Norfolk Southern, because they have
Got
that traffic, or they
So
have
there's
that
going to be
traffic.
some kind of messy hybrid thing you're going to have to somehow fight to get around in some way.
Right. And I think,
Got it.
and they're okay with it. They've actually been able to expand their rail service here in town, as well, because 3rd Street has a lot more room to expand than 3rd Street. 3rd Street is home to a Frank Lloyd Wright home on the backside of it.
Oh, you're
So
not tearing that down.
yeah, we're not tearing it down. We're not touching it.
Got it. Right.
Us getting the train traffic away from that house is
Got
better
it.
for everybody.
So what do you think should be done there? Do you think there should be some kind of auction? Should it be some kind of vote? Should it be you sell it off to somebody? What's your gut? What do you do? Do you make it a park? What do you think is the answer?
Well, a park is actually what we have is what I'm envisioning, and the county board has made some inroads in that respect. We have a very large and extensive bike path and pedestrian path system here in town, and if we convert 3rd Street into a pedestrian path, bike path, what that's going to allow us to do is it's going to open up a avenue for us to not only have basically you can bike all the way from my district, which is about 5 miles away, all the way into downtown, and be.
So let me ask you about the culture of your town. Do people use bikes in your town? Is that a thing?
Yes,
they do.
Springfield is wonderfully flat.
Okay, got it.
There's one or two creeks here in town where things get, there is some elevation change. You might get 34 feet of elevation change, but outside of those two areas, it's very flat.
Got it.
So it's a good bike town. I'd recommend it to anybody. It's there's lots of stops, and we definitely use the trails here. Now, one of the issues that Springfield has is that we have the Springfield. Springfield is home to the state capitol. We also have the state fairgrounds. So the state fairgrounds are about 3 miles away from downtown, and there's not really a good way to get get pedestrian traffic from the fairgrounds into downtown. So
that does seem like a problem. You would think you'd want to funnel them in, right?
Right, exactly. And the fair's coming next week. It's the 8th through the 18th. So it's always been a major concern, because downtown obviously looks at the tourist traffic that's at the fairgrounds, right. And the tourists look at downtown and go like, I might, we got a couple hours to burn. It might be cool to go to the Abraham Lincoln
absolutely
Presidential Library. Maybe
throw some bucks at the local economy. Yeah, give some local economy dollars. Yep,
exactly. The problem is that there's no parking at either location. So you're having to give up your parking spot at the fairgrounds to come downtown, find parking, and then when you want to go back to the fairgrounds, you have to fight for more parking. So by making 3rd Street a pedestrian bike path walkway, what that's going to allow us to do is it provides a traffic-free way for us to get tourists from the county fair, from the state fairgrounds, sorry, not the county fairgrounds, the state fairgrounds, into downtown and back and forth without having to mess with the traffic.
I love everything that you're talking about. So I'm sure people do too, but look, we gotta be realistic here. What's your race look like? Is this going to be a spot where you've got a great chance to win, a small chance to win, do you have like an incumbent who's just going to crush you? Is it wide open? Is it a 2-person race? I mean, there's so many things that could be going on. And is it, by the way, is it an actual partisan race? Are you a Democrat or Republican, or does it not matter? How does this work?
No. So I'm running as a Libertarian. and it's a three-way race. Now we do not. Now I'm not facing an incumbent.
Oh, okay.
So the incumbent retired back in January, and the Republican-led board appointed somebody that they were familiar with, that probably wasn't going to ask too many questions.
Is that person running now, or is that person walking away?
That person eventually decided to run.
Got it.
When
Okay.
that person got appointed to the board, they weren't running.
Got it.
Okay, they didn't register for the Republican primary.
Got it.
So I'm sitting here in March, and I'm looking around, I'm like going, okay, there's a Democrat, there's no Republican.
Oh, so you want to jump on board to have a two-person race?
Right. Exactly.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So eventually, the Republican decided to run. My Democratic opponent is a full Democrat. Got endorsed by by Everytown, who's the same anti-Second Amendment group that endorsed Joe Biden for president.
So is the district you're running in, is it heavily red, heavily blue?
It leans Republican, but it's not a Trump district. Trump did not win,
okay.
Yeah, Trump did not win this district in 2022.
Got
or
it.
2020. I'm sorry, 2020.
Yep.
2020.
Yep.
So this is more of a swing district.
So what do you think your odds are here? Do you think you're going to be able to pull a big chunk of votes? What do you think?
Well, I've been working on this campaign since March. My petitioning period opened at the last week of March, and there's about 5,000 voters, 3,500 households, and
wow.
I turned in 485 signatures.
Okay. Nicely done.
So if you live in my district, there's a pretty good chance I've knocked on your door. I can only name 2 cul-de-sacs and 1 street that I haven't walked yet.
Look at that. Guys, if you're watching this, then you need to listen to what this man's talking about. Real retail politics, meeting people. And if you want to help him do that, you can. Easiest way you can do it. Be his social media warrior. Go on there, follow him on Twitter, share his stuff, click the like button, all those things. It's Clark for Sangmo BD. It's in the show description at the bottom of your page right now. You can also go to his website, russclark.org. You can, if you live in the area, someone nearby, volunteer. Head on over there one weekend or one night, hang out with them and, knock on some doors, do sign waves, go to an event with them, whatever. Hang out and hold the sign, whatever. Or you can also donate. Head over there. Someone's got to pay for the door hangers. Someone's got to pay for the palm cards. Someone's got to pay for this Facebook ads. Help them out at russclark.org. So with that in mind, Russ, how are you going to make impact? Is this going to be a knock on doors thing for you? Is it going to be a local radio station for you? How are you going to make the impact?
So our districts here in Sangamon County are so small. We only have about 5,000-6,000 voters apiece, and there's 29 of us on the board. So it's intentionally a small, local, personal race. I will give Springfield a lot of credit. Springfield residents a lot of credit. They usually know their city alderman. They usually, and they're very active. George Preckwinkle was also very active in the community. A lot of people knew him personally. He took phone calls. Every one of everyone who's on the board has their phone number and their email listed on the county website, so that you can contact us if you have issues, if you have questions. One of the big questions that I've gotten on county services is we do all the animal control for the county. If you have issues with, I call them varmints, but basically raccoons, possums, occasional coyote or something like that, and you want the county to help relocate those animals, then you would call our animal control here countywide. So that's one of the things that we do. We also
I like that. That's so you really can touch all the people.
Yes.
So then let me go to the next step then. You have issues you care about, obviously. When you're knocking on doors, you're talking about those issues. So is there another way of winning besides just winning the seat? Or is that really it? If you win the seat or you've lost?
Well, obviously, I'd love to win the seat. That's why I got into this. I'm in it to win it. The other, if we have to have some kind of alternate win condition, for me, then that would be the formation of a revenue guarantee fund, so that way we can start increasing the number of airline flights at the airport.
Oh, so you have a very crystal clear secondary win.
Yes, start with a vision. Have
Right.
a plan for why you're running and what you want to do. I'm not in this for some kind of ego trip here. I'm actually I'm in this because I'm concerned about our property taxes, and our property taxes go to the airport. Believe it or not, we have a separate line item on our property taxes that fund the airport. So
Wow.
if the airport's projections are correct, if we don't get additional airline flights, our budget's going to go in the red for the airport. And then who are they going to come back to fund the deficit? They're either going to come to the county board, or they're going to try and pass a mill levy to increase your property taxes.
Yes,
I don't
absolutely.
want either of those. I want more airline service, so that way the people that use the airport help pay for the operations of the airport. That's what this whole idea is. Now, if you're wondering why does he care about the airport so much, you're running for county board. I understand that. The airport board is half appointed. It's an 8-member board. It's half appointed by the Sangamon County Board. Half of it's by the city of Springfield. So by being on the county board, we have some significant influence in how that airport operates. And here's another thing. For airline revenue guarantee funds, they can't be managed by the airport. They have to be run by a separate organization. Now, I think the county board's a great board organization to manage these funds, but we also have the Economic Development Council, which is, again, half appointed by the county board, half appointed by the city of Springfield. If they do it, that's fine. But we need somebody to go out and fundraise and get these revenue funds to back up airline flights. We used to have a flight to Dallas. We had 2 flights. We had 2 flights a day to Dallas. And I apologize, my campaign manager / cat walked in and clawed my leg.
You can show the cat if you want. Show the cat. I don't mind. It's fine.
If you want me to, yeah, I'll bring Todd in.
Yeah, show the cat. I don't mind. People are human beings. People have pets. Some people have dogs. People have cats. Whatever. Hamster, parrot, whatever you got. It's all good.
Yeah.
Whatever you got. There we go. There we go. We are rocking and rolling. All good. Yes, no worries whatsoever. So yes, all good. So no. Look, I do all these shows live, so it's very common that there'll be a dog or a cat will show up, a baby will cry, whatever. It's all good.
Yeah, I'm Mr. Interruption. I'm getting interrupted by my campaign manager, and I have to go grab a charger for my.
All good. We're all human, my friend. I never forget the one thing I remember. This is maybe 4 years ago now, maybe 5. It was before McAfee died, obviously, because I was interviewing John McAfee before he passed. He literally was on his ship out in the Arctic Ocean, and in the middle of the interview goes, "I gotta go piss." Gets up, goes to the bathroom, and comes back. Yes, so yeah, cat's fine. So anyway, and Dave even says, "Cute cat." So Dave is on your side.
Yeah.
So there we go. So all right. So I'm glad that you have an idea what a win is. You have everything. What do you think is, if at the end of this, if you do better than you expect but don't win, does that change what your next steps are, or no matter what, you're going for this fund and that's it, or does something else pop up?
For right now, if they want a public face for the airline revenue guarantee fund, I'm happy to do it.
Got it.
I've done a lot of research for that. Perfectly fine. If I don't win, I'm I'm active in the local community. I do some volunteering. I've actually talked to a couple teachers at one of the local high schools about doing some education pieces, because they've had through an organization that I'm a member of. We help sponsor the Academic Bowl.
Okay.
And I've offered to do some economics, rudimentary economics education on that, so that way the Academic Bowl team can answer a few questions. One of the things that just killed me was they got a question on the balancing point between supply and demand. Most libertarians know that that's price. That's the balance.
Sure.
But
Yep.
they didn't know what that was, and I was sitting in the audience. And I'm kind of frustrated.
They would have said minimum wage set by the government. That's what it is. Anyway, they would have said that. Yes.
Right.
So look, I appreciate everything you've done. Is there anything I've missed that we should be talking about that I've missed?
Yeah. So the big thing that we haven't touched on is obviously our property taxes. So here in Illinois, we have some of the highest property tax burdens in the country.
I live in New York State. I have no idea what he's talking about. Go ahead, please. Yes.
Oh man,
yes.
You're right. You're right.
Yes.
You're so right.
Keep going.
So one of the problems that we have here in Sangamon County is if you do home renovations. Let's say I was actually talking to a couple of people in the district, and they had recently upgraded their HVAC. Their old furnace and their old air conditioner weren't working, so they got a new one. And they were warned. They were warned by their installer, hey, there's a $700 credit that you can receive for upgrading your HVAC to a more efficient service. Probably, but don't do it because they'll raise your property taxes.
Oh.
He's just like, I don't know. So he went and applied for the credit. Sure enough, his property taxes went up $200 next year. And then it went up another $200 the year after that.
So they just basically taking their money back.
Yes.
Wow. So you get a credit, but not really. We're getting money anyway. Just it'll take a bit longer, but we're still getting it.
Well, not only that, so he got credited $700. He got a $700 credit. Okay. His property taxes went up $200 the next year. They went up another $200 the year after that. So within 2 years, he's paid $600 for a $700 rebate. And then the next year after that, I don't know, but
he's in the hole at least $300 by year 3.
He's in the hole now because he did something good. He went and actually made his home more efficient. So it took
that'll teach you to be efficient.
That's right.
Yes.
So so one of the things that I would like to see at the county board, and this would be one of my first acts when elected, is to propose an ordinance where we're not penalizing people and raising their property taxes because they took a credit to improve their home. If you're replacing your HVAC, no, that you're not increasing your square footage of your home. I don't even really consider that you're increasing the value of your home. You're increasing the likelihood of it being able to sell it.
Yeah.
And Todd's back. You're not making such an increase in the value of your home where you need to be paying an extra $200 a year.
Got it.
And I think it's pretty egregious.
There we go. Wow, you have, and again, anyone watching, look, support Russ here if you can. Clark for Sangmo BD on Twitter or X. Head over to his website, russclark.org. If you can give something, that's great. If you can volunteer, that's great. If you can be a social media warrior, also great. You're hearing he is doing the homework in his own community, trying to solve problems in his own community. This is how we make change. Grassroots is the perfect example. Russ, thank you so much for giving me so much time today. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. So
everyone watching, thank you so much for watching and taking care. And the cat's here too. You took the cat out. Absolutely. Yes, go ahead. I will be on later on today at 7 and on tomorrow also afternoon around 3 p.m. And I will even do a show Saturday night and Ask Me Anything. I am back in action. So I will see you all very soon.